Just hang loose, blood. She gonna catch up on the rebound on the med side.
What it is, Big Mama? My mama raised no dummies. I duck a rap.
Cut me some slack, Jack.
Say cutting can family saying we say be doing it, they say you ain't.
Chump don't wanna help, Chump don't get the help.
Say can't hang, say 7 up.
Jive ass dude don't got no brains anyhow.
What's happening, guys, and welcome back to The Riot. Today I'm going to be talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Before I get into my review, though, I feel like I have to say this. I never go into a movie wanting it to be bad, right? When I go to see a movie, at least inwardly, I go in wanting it to be a good movie, right? Like, I never go to a movie saying, oh, I hope this movie wastes 3 hours of my time, or I want this movie to be bad so I could just talk shit about it. No, like, I go into a movie wanting it to be good, praying that it's good. It just so happens we're living in a time where bullshit is king, and unfortunately, there's just not a lot out there, right? Don't get me wrong, there are some good movies that are out there, and I will talk about those in a different video. Today's not that video. Because today I am talking about Kathleen Kennedy's latest failure, which is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So, this movie isn't bad. It's just meh, which is even worse than bad. Like, I'd rather a movie be bad than be meh, right? Because at least with a bad movie, I'd have some emotion about it. This movie, I don't really have any emotion about it. Well, I do, but I'm going to get into that part later. Guys, you have to understand, there's this mentality out there, right? There's this this thing that people have nicknamed, rage streaming, right? And that's where guys who want to hate everything just trash everything that they don't like, and they have this audience that they cater to, right? And yeah, I will admit, I there are those videos out there, right? There are people who do on a regular speak negatively about pop culture in general, right? Every reviewer who has said what they've said about this film, all the negative reviews are pretty much on target. There is no, oh, this person's on the right side, this person's on the left. It's none of that bullshit. No, it's universally, this movie this ain't it. This ain't it, man. And don't take my word for it. Look at the box office, right? Now, I know it's easy to say, well, box office numbers don't really matter in the scheme of things, and who cares about the box office? Yeah, I would say that if I'm talking about an independent film that costs like maybe 10 million to make, we're talking about Indiana Jones, right? Indiana Jones. This movie cost close to $300 million to make. Its opening weekend, it made $60 million. That's not good. To give you a different perspective on this, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the Indiana Jones before this movie, was bad. Like I hated that movie. I don't hate Dial of Destiny. I'll just forget about it in like a day or two. But I hated Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It was just bad all the way through, right? That movie cost $185 million to make. Its opening weekend, it made 101, I believe, $million. So 185 to make, opening weekend, $100 million. That's not bad. And Dial of Destiny, 300 million. It made 60. Its opening weekend. Right? And that's usually when the big numbers come in. This movie is just not good, man. It's not good. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's not good, right? So you've seen the trailers. I really don't have to get into the story of it, but I'll talk about it a little bit, right? The whole point of the movie, right, is Indiana Jones, young Indiana Jones, was in pursuit of this this spear of Christ in the beginning of the film, right? And they do the whole de aging thing, and actually, it didn't look too bad. I mean, because it was shot in the dark, right? Because there were definitely some scenes where I'm like, "Ooh, that's not good," but for the most part, the de aging was not bad. And it's him, on this train heist thing, trying to steal this spear of Christ, which the spear that was jabbed into Jesus's rib, uh, to steal the spear of Christ from these Nazis, right? And turns out the spear was a fake. But in discovering that the spear was fake, they uh, find out about the dial of destiny, right? So, and I forgot which Greek uh, inventor. It's not coming to mind because the movie's that irrelevant to me. Archimedes. So it was Archimedes' dial, which would allow the person who has all the parts connected would be able to time travel, right? So Indy finds this dial, and we he gives it to his partner, and then we flash forward to 1960, where he's this old man who basically has this terrible life, right? I mean, he has to drink just to get up in the morning. You know what I mean? He's yelling at young kids to turn down their music. He's basically playing the old man bit, right? And this particular day, it happens to be his retirement from teaching college, right? And that's where he runs into the biggest problem of this movie, which is this woman right here, Phoebe Waller Bridge. This is where my demeanor might change. As rough as this movie was, she made it that much harder to watch every time she was on screen. I I can't tell you how. Look, I'm sure she's a nice person in person. Maybe, I don't know the woman. But I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say maybe she's a lovely person in real life, right? In this movie, though, if she really is a nice person in real life, this movie did her no favors, and she honestly should probably sue Kathleen Kennedy for tarnishing her image because it's not good. Like she might be more hated than Jar Jar Binks, and I don't even know how that's possible because I think even Jar Jar got a redemption story at some point. But anyway, she uh she approaches Andy with this proposal to find the dial of destiny. And from there, shenanigans ensue, right? And they're being pursued the whole time by an actor who I really admire, which is Mads Mikkelsen, who plays the Nazi who's hunting them down. So standard Indiana Jones trope, but whatever. This movie just had a lot of problems, man. It had a lot of problems. The story made no sense. Her motivations had no sense at all. People were trying to defend her online, saying that, oh, well, she was a thief, so she played a thief. And if a man played a thief and you know double crossing Indiana Jones several times in the movie, then we would have no problems if it was a man. I'm like, no, we would have a problem because they couldn't look. They tried to have it both ways, right? They wanted it both ways. They wanted her to be this rogue, right? This lovable rogue, but at the same time, they wanted her to be like this hard ass or this badass, right? And her motivations went from I want to steal the dollar destiny to sell it on the black market to oh, this is my father's life's work, and I need to do this for him. I'm like, 30 minutes ago, you were just trying to sell it. So to black market crooks. I don't understand this, right? And also, Indiana Jones in all of this is just along for the ride. Like it's really her movie. He's just kind of there as a set piece, right? And at the end of the day, look, man, this movie is watchable if you're at home. You know, you got a few drinks in you. Uh, you're having friends over to have like a bad movie night, and you want to laugh at some things. Uh, Damn, I don't even know if it's that entertaining to be honest with you, because I love bad movies. Like I love watching a bad movie with friends so we can laugh and joke and have a good time. I don't even think this movie is it. Like I don't even think you could do that with this movie. I, the problem here goes beyond the movie. It goes beyond the movie. This goes to management. This goes to production, and it especially goes to Kathleen Kennedy. This is a woman who I really believe is only staying at Lucasfilm out of spite because she knows how much the fans hate her. She is a terrible, terrible head of production. Like I don't even know why she's there with all the failures this woman has had. There's no logical reason why she's there other than she knows where the bodies are buried. There's no other way I can think of, no other reason I could think of that she still has a job. She, you know, look, I don't know what Iger's doing over there. I don't know why he hasn't cleaned house because you saw what Warner Brothers did. I mean, Warner Brothers is like they're at their wits end. They cleaned house, right? And they're banking all their success on James Gunn now, for the most part. Kathleen Kennedy represents everything that's wrong with modern day filmmaking right now. She represented. She represents all of it, right? Because she doesn't want to make movies that people will enjoy. She doesn't want to make movies that fans of these properties will enjoy. She wants to send a message. She wants to preach a message, right? And it's not working. It's not working. Disney is failing. I mean, so are most other major studios, but we're talking about Indiana Jones right now. And we're talking about Disney film. They're failing. I can't even tell you how many failures they've had over the past 2 years. From the MCU to Lucasfilm to Disney proper, nothing but failures. They've had one or two gems that made some money for them, right? But one of those went to Sony, and that was Spider-Man No Way Home, right? The other being Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Doctor Strange did okay, but that was also kind of the beginning of the end too. Because once people saw what that bullshit was about, I think it cracked a lot of faith within the fan base. But my point is, no one should be able to be that bad at their job and keep it. And Kathleen Kennedy is terrible at her job. But look, man, what do I know, right? I mean, I'm not a head of studio. I don't make the big decisions. All I can tell you is there's no way Disney can continue to take the losses that they're taking right now. There's no way, and I know people think Disney has endless money. They can afford a bunch of flops. They can afford it because they got the parks, they got the merchandising. And I'm not saying they're going to go out of business, okay? What I'm saying is You can't keep taking those hits. You know what I mean? Without somebody suffering. Now, I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy will be fine because she seems to be protected at all ends. But I'm talking about the people who work under her. I'm talking about the people who work under them. I'm talking about the people who work under them, right? Those people might not have a job. And maybe rightfully so. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I don't want to get too deep into this film because it's honestly there's nothing to get deep about. Everything I told you is pretty much what the film's about. It's about finding this dial of destiny. Oh, and then the funniest part about all of this is, I don't like to give spoilers when it comes to movies. So, but I am going to say this: by the time you get to the very end of the film, you're going to realize all of it was for nothing. All of it. None of it mattered. None of it mattered. Like there are no stakes. There are no stakes. None of this mattered at the end of the day. If the Nazis had found a dial of destiny with no interference from Indiana Jones, nothing would change. Nothing would have changed. I, I don't understand this level of incompetence when it comes to a story that should be so easy to tell. But here we are, right? Anyway, guys, that's it for me, man. I wanted to keep this one kind of short. I know it went probably longer than I wanted it to, but I don't know what to say anymore. I don't, man. I feel almost stupid reviewing anything by Disney at this point. Because I just feel like at this I'm not going to they're not going to recover from this. I'm not even going to touch Secret Invasion. Like I thought about it, I'm like, maybe I should do it. No, no, I'm 3 episodes in. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to even waste my time because I'll basically be saying the same thing I'm saying right now. So, and I love Sam Jackson too much, you know, to do that. But it's just God, guys, if you can understand my frustration, like, and I'm sure some of you do, like, I'm trying to keep it together for this video, but I just don't understand why it's so hard. Why is it so hard just to write a good story and make a good movie? Why is it so fucking hard? Guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Verbal Riot Show. And I'll talk to you soon.